Cotton is one of the most important cash crops in Malawi, and it is identified as a priority crop under Malawi's Growth Development Strategy 3. It involves 250,000 farming families in Malawi, with an average of 5 people in each family. What does that mean? 1 million people in a country with just a population of 18 million people. Cotton producers are struggling to meet the demands of the textile industry, and cotton industry is almost collapsing. That means massive loss of jobs and livelihood. Now in 2018 comes a solution, BT Cotton. Listen to this video on how it's going to be a game changer in Malawi.
Cotton is recognized as a significant priority crop by the MGDS, that's the Malawi Growth Development Strategy 3, as well as the ASWAP, or Agriculture Sector-Wide Approach. It is considered a priority crop. Even in the National Export Strategy, cotton as an oil crop is also considered a priority crop. So it receives priority in terms of the different institutions within Malawi. It contributes GDP roughly about 10 to 15%. In fact, we're estimating that about 40,000 Malawians are directly engaged in the cotton industry, apart from the farmers alone, but other players coming into the sector, creating employment.
The importance of cotton at a household level, there are so many. One, that it is easy to handle. Of course, we know when you're growing, you have to make sure that you manage the pests there. And if you're putting a very good plan, you manage the pests, it gives you a very good yield, it's easy, because that's already available income at household level. Definitely that would improve people's lives when they've got money at hand. And also at household level, the way I see with cotton, one another advantage is, these are like shrubs, groups of crops. They give space to what we call crop diversification. So that time that you've grown and they are growing there, they give space that you can do other agriculture activities. You can grow other crops.
Cotton is very important to me in the sense that as an income generating activity, particularly farming, when we look at cotton, this is the crop that we rely much. Like for the 2020-2021 growing season, the produce that I got, when I sold, I got about 7 million Malawi kwacha. So from that money that I realized, I've used it for paying some school fees for my little brothers, as well as I would like to venture into other businesses from the profits that I got from this farming season.
The road to have this BT cotton now even tested by the farmers has been quite long, because as you know, in many countries, when it comes to GMOs, people are a bit apprehensive of those technologies. And the role of the Commission has been to advocate for even the start of the trials. Initially, worked closely with research station, Chitezi Research Station, and also Lilongwe University of Agriculture and Natural Resources, and where and the various stakeholders and even the Environmental Affairs Department to come up with Biosafety Act, because people were apprehensive. They thought, we don't have the capacity, we can't grow this, we don't know what is going to be effect. So the Commission has played a key role of coordinating all those efforts.
When BT came in as a country, it was like one of the key solutions to the challenges in the cotton industry. So in terms of the regulatory part, the journey was very smooth. We did all the biosafety issues, all the risk assessment, all the concerns which other groups of people were voicing out, and we addressed them, and some of the concerns were addressed through the conditions which were given to the permits for the developer of the technology. So it was smooth until we reached the general release, when for us we deregulated the BT cotton.
In terms of pest and disease resistance, the BT2 is more resistant compared to the previous local one. As well as if we talk of the productivity itself, when you grow an acre, in the previous growing seasons, before I started the BT2, I used to get about 4 to 5 bales from 1 acre. That is weighing 100 kgs. While this time around, using the same piece of land, that is 1 acre, like this season, I could get 8 to 10 bales from 1 acre. So you can see that it's almost double yield that is being realized from the same field.
As a country, we rely mainly on the smallholder farmer. So if the smallholder farmers, produce and then sell, he himself or herself is assisted in terms of cash, which they can use for their day-to-day living. In addition, when the produce is exported outside the country, the country also, has forex, from outside the country. This is why before, cotton production was really emphasized, and it was a must. People have to follow the regulations. But I think after that era, there was a slack. This is why we have had all these challenges, coming in. Now we are saying, can we go back? So we have to begin to sensitize, our farmers that no, I think this is the right way to go.
Now the challenge for farmers is they think the seed is a little expensive, and there has to be some modalities to work how we can reduce the seed price. I can understand that one of the reasons why it is a little expensive is we are importing the seed. So I think we should be able, with a capacity building, to start maybe producing the seed right in the country, locally. That will help in terms of reducing the price of the seed. The other thing that we should do to sustain this is to make sure that we synchronize demand and supply.
In an ideal situation, we should be producing enough seed cotton for the gins to be operating even 9 months in a year. At the moment, the gins are only operating maybe 1 to 2 months in the whole year. The rest of the year, they are lying idle. It's not a very effective way of using resources. So we have to enhance the production across the country to utilize those resources more effectively.
When it comes to us now, as the users, as a GINA, it means more employment, because you have more buyers fanning out to buy the seed and then bringing it into the factory to gin, that's another employment. Then you move from there to the factory where we are going to do the spinning and weaving. As I said earlier on, the spinning alone is 45% of the whole establishment. It means now you're employing 45% of the staff. So job creation is there. Poverty alleviation, you've done away with it. At least by Malawi standards, I am employed, but there are 10 people on average. So if you take that 45%, you bring them in on board, it means you have multiplied it by 10 for the farmers. So that you have improved them. Besides that, you have made the company continue non-stop production. So there will be no downtime. Then everything goes. Then the cycle continues. And if the cycle continues, again, by extension, the retailer who's buying the cloth from me will also sell to somebody else, and he makes money as well. But if I can't supply him enough, he will not have enough to supply.
We do not want to be caught up in a situation where we have to import lint. Therefore, we are compelled to scale up the production. And we are looking at the BT cotton really as the solution to this. As I said, with the limited area, we have to enhance the productivity. We'll be looking at engaging Makoka, bring in other germplasms which can actually drive us from 4 tons to a higher level, maybe up to 8 tons per hectare. And I also mentioned, we're also seriously looking at the stacked gene so that we can also reduce the impact of weeds on yields. As I said, 40% of yield reduction is due to weed competition. So we are looking really at stacked genes here so that we can now move at smallholder farmer level from 2 tons to a possible 4 tons per hectare. That turns around the whole industry in Malawi.